Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the Longfellow Welcome Video Project to unpack exactly how a school takes extreme real-world vulnerability and transforms it into an absolutely unbreakable community. We're going to see how simply giving students the power to tell their own stories can completely flip a school's culture upside down. To really grasp the stakes of this project, we've got to start with one massive question. What makes a new student stay? Imagine navigating a brand new high school. But on top of all the usual stress, you are also a new teen mom. The anxiety is just off the charts, right? So how does a school convince that student not to just turn around and walk out the door forever? Well, the data points to a really tight critical window, just 21 days. Those first 3 weeks are the absolute hardest. The school actually calls this the 3-week bump, and it's this highly vulnerable window where the risk of dropping out is at its absolute peak. Basically, if a student can survive past day 21, they're highly likely to graduate. But if they don't feel supported in that window, they're gone. Okay, let's quickly map out this masterclass in community building. We're covering 6 parts: the 3-week bump, making the school sticky, the student production crew, scripting authentic, real talk, the visuals and recording, and wrapping up with the build and launch. Starting with Section 1, the 3-week bump. These new students are feasting what the school perfectly describes as the double juggle. Think about the literal mountain of stress they're carrying. They're fighting sheer exhaustion, a terrifying fear of judgment from their peers, the heart-wrenching anxiety of handing their baby over to strangers in the nursery, and just the sheer logistical nightmare of balancing academics with motherhood. It's a really heavy load. Moving right into Section 2, making Longfellow sticky. So the ultimate goal here relies on a concept called being sticky. The school literally needs to make their environment sticky from day one. Instead of letting all those fears win, they have to prove to the new moms that they belong. They have to completely disarm those anxieties the very second they walk through the door. Now, a shiny, heavily polished, teacher-led corporate video? Yeah, that's not going to cut it. To build a true bridge, they knew they needed a peer-led documentary. New students need to hear directly from the peers who have sat in those exact same chairs and survived that exact same double juggle. Section 3, the student production crew. Not every teenager actually wants to be front and center on camera. So running right out of their advisory periods, the students divide the work by picking from 4 specific superpowers based entirely on their comfort level. You've got the talent, handling the speaking, the eyes, capturing the footage, the tech, working the editing magic, and the bridge, providing vital bilingual translation. It completely removes the stress because everyone just plays to their strengths. Imagine a kangaroo, right? Always carrying its little one while constantly on the move. That perfectly captures the essence of this double juggle. So the students, acting as VIs, go out hunting for real, authentic footage of this reality. They act as cinematographers, capturing the village in motion, handoffs at the nursery, a diaper bag sitting right next to a laptop, just real life. Which brings us to Section 4, scripting authentic, real talk. When it comes to writing the script, the students are told to aggressively scrap the teacher speak. Let's be honest, nobody wants to hear stiff phrases about an educational environment. They want to know what the vibe is. Forget the attendance policy, they just want to know who is actually having their back. That's how you make sure the message genuinely connects. And the impact of this real talk approach, it is undeniable. Listen to this raw, unscripted quote from a senior. "I almost quit on day 3. I graduate in May." Wow. Think about how incredibly powerful that is for a terrified newbie to hear. It completely normalizes that urge to just give up, but immediately follows it up with a tangible vision of success. All right, Section 5, the visuals and recording. Capturing the physical campus vibe is absolutely crucial for building visual familiarity. Simply seeing the actual front doors of the school on video before you ever arrive, that lowers day one anxiety tremendously. By the time they walk up to that building, it already feels a little bit like home. When hitting record, the student crew sticks to 3 totally actionable pro tips. And the absolute best life hack here is the 10-second rule. They are taught to just hold the camera completely still for 10 full seconds. It sounds super basic, but it gives the student editors so much breathing room to work with later without the footage looking like a chaotic mess. And we definitely cannot forget the bilingual bridge. For immigrant mothers adopting to a whole new country and school system, hearing their native language, phrases like "no estás sola," meaning you are not alone, is a total game changer. It's the ultimate welcome mat that radically reduces that feeling of isolation. Finally, Section 6, the build and launch. In the editing room, it is all about the audio first rule. You lay down the voiceovers first to build the emotional spine of the piece. Then you layer on that raw, hopeful B-roll. And finally, you drop in bold text overlays, keeping them on screen for at least 3 full seconds. That way, even if someone is watching on their phone with the sound totally off, that core message of support still hits home. But hey, a great message is completely useless if nobody actually sees it, right? So they target that most vulnerable window with a brilliant 72-hour distribution strategy. Day 1, QR codes pop up in high-stress zones, like the nursery. Day 2, the school texts the video directly to the student's phone. Day 3, it's playing on a loop at a breakfast check-in. They practically guarantee the message finds the student exactly when they need it most. Ultimately, as this explainer shows by empowering these young women to share their honest, messy, and totally triumphant stories, Longfellow is helping them build 2 futures at once, as a mom and as a graduate. It is absolute proof that you can take deep vulnerability and engineer it into massive strength. So, looking at this blueprint, what community in your own life can you make sticky today?